He is either in the hospital or on his way home from the hospital. He has been battling COVID, and his wife, Diane, is either on the way to the hospital or she's already there because she picked it up too. So I will take over Tommy's duties, and I don't know that I can sound like a Baptist minister, but I'll still try to do the best possible. Dear Lord, we humbly beseech you to hear our prayer tonight and ask that you guide us to always make decisions in the best interest of Monroe, not for any selfish gain, but for those of our community. We ask you, Lord, for your assistance with clean minds, clean hearts, and positive actions. We ask your special blessing tonight on John Warren Malcolm and ask that his family and travels safely back to Monroe. We also send out prayers to Tommy and Diane Fountain, both of whom are battling a virus that has already had such a terrible impact on our community. We thank you for listening to our prayers, and we thank you for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Monroe. Amen. And I'll call this meeting to order. It is 6:01, second Tuesday of the month. I need to let the record reflect that all members of council are present with the exception of Nathan Little, who had a minor surgery that will keep him out tonight. I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Ross Bradley. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Is that you, Tyler?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Need to approval of the consent agenda, which would be last month's council minutes, council minutes from November 10th, council minutes from November 18th, executive session minutes, planning commission minutes, the typical things that we approve every month on our consent agenda. Could I have a motion, please? Motion by Ms. Malcolm. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Dickinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to the public presentation, a friend of mine's coming in tonight. She is the principal at Youth Elementary, very active in the Chamber of Commerce, and she is one of the best all-around folks I know. Her name's Susan Enfinger. Come on up, Susan. She wants to let you know she has also assumed responsibility of chairman of the United Way for Walton County. It's up to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here tonight and get to speak to you on behalf of Walton County's United Way. Before I kick off tonight, if you will just indulge me, I have a 3-minute short video clip that I would like to put up and show you that goes to why we are doing what we're doing in our campaign this year. So, video clip for you.
This is called How Do I Know? And a lot of times when people hear the phrase, how do I know, the next thing they say is what? How do I know what? The key really isn't to know what. The key is to know why. Because when you know your why, you have options on what your what can be. For instance, my why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. My what is stand-up comedy. My what is writing books. My what can be going out with some friends to eat. In fact, another what that has moved me towards my why is a web series that we have out now called Break Time. So every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you should subscribe to the channel. We do a series called Break Time on YouTube. So at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode. One episode in particular, I'm about to show you a clip to. We were in Winston-Salem. So Break Time, this is how it works. I travel the country, I do stand-up comedy, probably an hour, hour and a half at an event. And in the middle of my show, I'll just sit down and start talking to the audience. And funny just happens. Or I'll meet somebody who's really interesting. So I met this one guy, and he said that he teaches music at a school. I was like, all right, you teach music, can you sing? And then I'm just going to show you a clip. Check it. So you're a musical director. Yes, sir. All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. You do the first part of that. Go ahead. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick. You know this version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Here's the thing. First time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. Second time I asked him to sing, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose.
And I think for me, that was when I was asked if I would chair the United Way campaign. That was what I had to go back to, was does that fit with the rest of my why? And so I see a lot of familiar faces, and most of you know that I work for the Walton County School District, but I work and I serve there because I want to improve the lives of families and children. That's why we do what we do at school. When I go to school, some days I get to teach, some days I get to lead, some days I get to discipline students to help them, and some days I spend my days just sitting with hurting families who need our help. This month, I get to ask my staff if they'll help us support the United Way. But all of those things go back to why I know each of you sit here, which is because we want to do things for Walton County to make Walton County better for our families and the people that live here. Everybody that I know wants to do something that goes beyond themselves. We want to work for something that makes a difference in the world, to leave a legacy behind us that goes beyond just our lives here. I want that for myself and my family. I want it for the staff that I work with, and I want it for the community in which I live. And I know as leaders here, as business owners, we get to create opportunities by connecting people to these organizations that the United Way supports. We get to help people find their why and to lead their best lives. That's what creates a legacy. That's what creates a story that's bigger than ourselves. But it does require each and every one of us working together. You know, Truett Cathy says that we should all be part of the communities in which we live and the communities in which we serve. Our Walton County United Way raises approximately $250,000 every year that goes directly back into the organization that serve the families that live here. And I can tell you that straight from being in a school and working with hurting families, and I know you have stories of your own, but I'm going to share two with you really quickly before we move on. We do things at school where I have families come in and say, Ms. Enfinger, I just can't get my lights on. That's why we can't get this. There's people who are really hurting, and we know who to reach out to. And these organizations that United Way is helping to fund helps us to do that. I know who to call. It's easy sell for us at school to say we really need to support this organization and this group. The one that struck home the most was we had a third grade student last school year, pre-COVID, who went home on a Friday with stomach bug. She was hospitalized on Saturday. Her mother was a single mother who called me Monday morning and said, Ms. Enfinger, will you come sit with me? I don't have anybody. And I don't know if my little girl's going home. So we loaded up the teachers, got some coverage, and we drove ourselves to St. Jude And we sat in a hospital with a mama who had no family and nobody here. Unfortunately, her third-grade daughter, who was 9 years old, passed away from leukemia, which was undetected. And the next phone call I got said, "Miss Enfinger, I need your help again. I can't bury her. I wasn't planning for this. I'm single and I have no money. And I can't provide a proper service for my daughter." And I said, "Well, you will provide a proper service for your daughter. I want you to go contact your family. We'll take care of it." And I got on the phone with these very organizations that United Way funds, and we had a beautiful celebration of a 9-year-old little girl's life. And we took all of that away from Mom so that Mom could focus on celebrating and what she needed to do. But all of that is possible because we fund the United Way. And our campaign this year is called For Walton. And so we're asking that each of you would join us as we campaign to support these organizations, and that you would join us in being for Walton County, for the community in which we live, and for our families. And we hope that you will come alongside us to be part of that and to help support these wonderful organizations that are very clear what their why is in Walton County. And we utilize them time and time again. We're grateful for their service and for each of those directors. And if I can personally help you, I will be happy to do so, to get started with a campaign or to just find out how to contribute or to be part of what we do. Please consider joining us for Walton this year, and I appreciate your time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Susan. Wait a second. Are there any questions or comments for Ms. Enfinger? I like inviting folks in who contribute so well, and I appreciate you. And really, there are more than just the 10 or 15 of us in this room. There are actually people who do, there really are people who watch these on TV and online. So hopefully some of the folks who are watching will be in touch too. But thank you so much for being here.
Mayor, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
And you don't have to stick around.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It was probably 12 years ago when I first came on council, that we were given an option to have payroll deduction for United Way for all our employees with the city. Will that be something we will offer?
I think there's a reason we had to pull it. Logan, do you remember that?
This predates me, but I believe there was a legal reason about using staff for payroll withholdings and deductions for charitable contributions. But we'll certainly look at, other options to help facilitate these worthy organizations.
Thank you.
And hopefully that did facilitate something, with the thousands of folks who watch. Thanks again, Susan, I appreciate it. Moving to the public rezone, we have no public comments tonight. We'll move straight to the rezone at Highway 138, number 1000 Highway 138. Mr. Kelly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicant is here, and as we discussed last week on this, they're just attempting to realign their project with the current economic model that's available and make some changes. This particular one has been rezoned for 14 years, and the changes that they're requesting and the ones that you have in front of you there as some potential options the applicant will go over would be a good thing to adopt, and we recommended approval as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Are there any questions for Patrick? Hearing none, I'll declare this portion of the meeting open for comment. I'm guessing Mr. Butler is here to be the developer?
My name is Ned Butler with representing Reliant Homes. We are requesting a rezone of 123 acres. It's currently zoned PCD and PRD. We're looking to change the layout, not change the zoning. We're looking to do 3 commercial out parcels up front to the front Highway 138, and then one that would be on a parkway. We are looking at doing a tunnel car wash on one of those, one being retail, the other being office, but requesting a C2 zoning designation in essence for those. We've talked with city administration on that and have provided a list of businesses that we would suggest not putting in a condition of not being allowed on those parcels. Behind that, we're proposing an assisted living facility with 96 units and 34 villas that would surround that. Again, after some comments, we're looking to put a rec area in to go along with that. That would include a pool, some asphalt or concrete walking trails, and a garden. And in the back, we're looking at a single-family residential subdivision. We've redesigned it from the original design that was all, did not have any rear alleyways. We added rear alleyways and are capturing more than 50% of the lots with rear entry with the addition of those alleyways, thinking that's more in line with the way the city's going with the design they're looking for. And then also working with city officials, we are proposing 17 conditions to go along that we think would be better for the project that we'd be proud of, and we think it'd be a better project for the city going forward in the future. I can go over those individually. I can tell you most of those go in line with the recent ordinance change that was approved. And then we've also talked with some neighbors, so there's some borders where we're adding some buffers and some privacy fencing to provide screening and keeping, in essence, people from this subdivision from wandering through the woods on the neighbor's property. With that, I would.
If you don't mind, because I've seen this, but I don't know that we've all had a chance to review it. Would you go through one by one? And I'm sorry, Lee, because I know you need to go.
No, that's okay.
You get up and leave if you decide.
Okay. Number one is minimum square footage of 1,600 square feet. That is what it's currently zoned for from 14 years ago. All buildings will be built brick, stone, other masonry-type product. Vinyl, aluminum may be utilized only for soffit and eave trim areas. Primary roofs will have a minimum pitch of 6 and 12. Dormer and porch roofs may have lower slopes. Roof overhangs shall be no less than 16 inches for brick. Side design no less than 12 inches for all other designs. Applies to gable ends and exterior walls supporting rafters. All primary front and rear entrances shall be scaled to the relative proportions of the building, design adjoining streetscape, and maintain overall architectural style of the residence. All exterior wall sections wider than 25 feet to include interruption in the plane of the facade by recess, protrusion, or fenestration. In essence, we're going to add windows so you don't end up with a big, just solid wall on the side of a house. No exposed unpainted wood is allowed on the front facade of any dwelling except a porch or flooring boards. 55% or greater of the lots will have a side or rear-facing garage door. Each home will have no less than 1 tree per 50 foot of road frontage, at least 2 inches in diameter, and shall situate the trees on the front half of the property and within the boundaries of the subject lot. These trees shall be in addition to any specimen trees located on the lot. All disturbed areas on each residential lot will have sod installed for ground cover. All retention pond areas will be screened by either opaque fence or evergreen planting. A 6-foot tall black chain link or opaque wood fence will be installed along a 25-foot buffer backing lots on the southerly portion of the property. This is to be installed behind all lots that back up to the lots located on Rayo Drive. A 50-foot non-disturbed buffer to remain along the back of residential lots on the easterly side of the property that adjoin the residences of Woodchase Drive. A 6-foot tall opaque fence to be installed along the southerly property line between the commercial out parcel number 3 and the residential residence located on Woodchase Drive. Require a rec area to include pool, walking paths, and cabana. Commercial and other area visible to Highway 138 shall conform to all CDO requirements and minimum 5-foot wide sidewalk.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Is this a one-way in and one-way out?
Yes, sir. We don't have an access point other than located on Highway 138.
Are there any other questions? Is there, and I know this is a technicality because we don't have any of the general public here, but I want to be making sure that we're doing the right thing legally. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone? Hearing none, is there anyone here to speak against the rezone? Hearing none, I'll declare that portion of the meeting closed. And we'll take that up in just a couple of minutes. I need to move to the rezone of 302 Michael Etchison. Mr. Kelly?
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. This is the same applicant, Reliant Homes. They're similarly wanting to take a zoning action to remove the age restriction on this property. It's been zoned as is for approximately 4 years. It had an age restriction of 55 and older, and they're asking to remove that from the requirements on that. That's the only zoning request on this property.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Patrick? Without having Mr. Butler have to get up, he can probably answer from his seat. Are there any other questions for him? Age restriction's the only thing, correct? That being said, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this rezone or this text amendment? Is there anyone against? Hearing none, I'll declare that portion of the meeting closed as well. We do have another item that we discussed last week, and I think that has been pulled from 249 Boulevard.
Yes, Mayor, the applicant has withdrawn that request with the code office this morning.
Okay. Then we need to move to 2021 budget all funds. Is that Ms. Thompson?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the 2021 operating and capital improvement budget. I'll do a brief overview of the operating budget. This is a $65,269,595 total budget citywide. This is a 4.6% increase over the 2020 budget that was adopted last year. The general fund 2021 budget is $13.7 million. The combined utilities budget for 2021 is $43.3 million, and the solid waste fund is $5.5 million. This also includes other funds as far as SPLOST. Those are the major funds. And then also the 2021 CIP budget of $16.8 million, which includes half of that is from the bond proceeds for the utility revenue bond. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I'll declare this portion of the meeting open for any public input. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against the budget as Ms. Thompson has described? Hearing none, I'll declare that portion of the meeting closed. And we'll move straight to new business, which is the rezone of 1000 Highway 138. I'll open the floor to council members for discussion.
What is your timeline to begin this project? Yes.
Do you mind stepping forward?
On this one, it's going to be a little bit longer time frame because we're going to have to develop a whole new set of house plans that would be this new modern farmhouse style with rear entry. We're just designing our first ones to start in Clubside, and we're going to kind of see how that goes. We should start in the next month in there and see if any changes we need to make, and then adjustments for lot sizes and lots width. So I would say we're at least a couple years down the road.
On this entrance into the development, I'm sure DOT is going to require the XL lanes, but are you going to design for turning lanes or double lanes going out? Do you know at this point?
I don't know. A lot of that's going to be in negotiations with the DOT, what they were going to require
Okay.
on 138. I imagine they're going to require left turn lane in, and then ACL, DCL
Right.
lane out.
Okay.
And I want to correct one thing, Mr. Garrett. We do have access on Selman Bridge, but we're not proposing to use that access point, because that would put more traffic out on Michael Etchison Road, and we thought it best to direct it all towards Highway 138.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Butler? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the rezone.
A motion to approve by Mr. Dickinson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Malcolm. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Butler. Moving to 302 Michael Etchison Road, rezone. I'll open the floor to any council members for questions or discussion. Or I'll entertain a motion.
I'll
Move to approve.
A motion to approve by Mr. Bradley and a second by Mr. Dickinson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We've moved the variance to a future date. I need to move to appointments for the Downtown Development Authority and Convention and Visitors Bureau and Urban Redevelopment Agency. We have two appointments that are expiring at the end of this month, and both would like to retain their seats. I'll do each of them individually. Mr. Wesley Sisk would like to continue to serve on the Downtown Development Authority and Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency. I need a motion to appoint Mr. Wesley Sisk for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2023.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Ross Bradley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gregory. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The next is Miss Andrea Gray. Would like to continue to serve on the Downtown Development Authority and Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency. I need a motion to reappoint Miss Andrea Gray for a 3-year term to expire on December 31st, 2023.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Ross Bradley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Malcolm. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next, moving to the resolution of the 2020 budget amendment. Mr. Rosenthal?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution adopting the 2020 budget revisions for the city of Monroe, appropriating revised amounts as shown in each budget as expenditures, and adopting the revised revenue projections and prohibiting expenditures to exceed appropriations. Be it resolved, the mayor and the council of the city of Monroe hereby resolve as follows. Whereas for the purpose of financing the conduct of affairs of the city of Monroe during fiscal year beginning January 1, 2020 and ending December 31, 2020, the revised budget of the city's revenues and expenditures for such period as prepared and submitted to the city council by the city administrator and so approved by the mayor and city council, whereas the amounts listed on the attached are the appropriations and transferred so authorized by the mayor and city council and are approved for the amounts and purposes indicated. Be it further resolved, the expenditures shall not exceed the appropriations authorized by this budget, and that the expenditures for the fiscal year shall not exceed funding available, so adopted this first day of December 2020. That is the resolution, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal. Are there any questions for Paul? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adopt.
A motion by Mr. Dickinson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Gregory. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
I'm going to sustain because I didn't get a chance to make that budget meeting. And I don't know what you put in there.
Mr. Garrett will abstain. And that passes. Moving to the approval of the 2021 budget resolution, Mr. Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution adopting the 2021 budget for the city of Monroe, Georgia, appropriating amounts as shown in each budget as expenditures, adopting the revenue projections, and prohibiting expenditures to exceed appropriations. Be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the city of Monroe as follows, where for the purpose of financing the conduct of affairs of the city of Monroe during fiscal year beginning January 1, 2021 and ending December 31, 2021, the budget of the city's revenues and expenditures for such period as prepared and submitted to the city council by the city administrator and so approved by the mayor and city council, whereas the amounts listed are the appropriations so authorized by the mayor and city council and are approved for the amounts and purposes indicated. Whereas any pay classification or job description changes contained and funded herein, the budget are approved for the amounts and purposes indicated. Whereas any organizational chart changes or descriptions contained herein in the budget are approved as indicated. And whereas the rates listed are so authorized by the mayor and city council and are approved for the amounts and purposes indicated. Whereas a budget amendment is considered any action of the mayor and city council to purchase items not including the original budgeted figures. Be it further resolved, the expenditures shall not exceed the appropriations authorized by this budget, and the expenditures for fiscal year shall not exceed funding available. So adopted by the mayor and council this 8th day of December 2020. That is the resolution, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions for Mr. Rosenthal? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adopt.
I have a motion by Mr. Dickinson to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ross Bradley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
I will sustain again.
And Mr. Garrett abstains. Motion carries. That passes. First reading of the Personnel Policy Ordinance Amendment regarding appeal and grievance procedures. Mr. Rosenthal?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance to amend the City of Monroe, Georgia personnel policy regarding appeal and grievance procedures and for other purposes. The mayor and the council of the City of Monroe hereby ordain as follows. Article 1, City of Monroe personnel policy is hereby amended with this 8th update, January 2021, by deleting the enumerated subsections contained therein as described and substituting with the following in lieu thereof. See the attached Exhibit A, which amends Section 1, General, Section 2, Definitions, Definition of Appeal, Section 3, Position, Classification, and Pay Plan, subsection C3, Section 10, Disciplinary Actions, subsection C and C7, Section 11, Separations, Sub A, subsections 2, 5, and 6, Section 12, Grievance and Appeal Procedures, completely new subsections A, B, C, D, E, and F, G, H, I, and J, K, L, and M, Section 15, Payroll, new subsection B, sub 2, Section 19, Equal Opportunity and Non-Discrimination, subsection A. Article 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Article 3, this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council of the City of Monroe, Georgia. This constitutes the first reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal. Are there any questions for Paul? Hearing none, we'll have the second reading at the January 12th meeting. Next is to the 2021 council meeting schedule. Mr. Probst?
Thank you, Mayor. This is what we do annually this time of year to approve our schedule for the meetings. As with this past year, there will be only one July meeting on July 6th, so that is of note. Everything else is 2 meetings per month. Of course, this is subject to amendment as we move through the year.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Logan? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
We have a motion by Mr. Gregory. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Ross Bradley. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next, moving to the solar purchase power contract, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the item we discussed last week. I don't have anything really new to add. Just a reminder that it's an expected $1.3 million savings over 20 years, and it will also get a renewable energy onto our portfolio. I'll take any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Thompson? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
I have a motion by Mr. Gregory. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Ms. Malcolm. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That motion carries and passes.
Thank you.
Moving to the garbage truck purchase, before we get to that, Chris, we updated this afternoon, correct?
Updated,
The agenda?
yes.
Did Russell, Paul, did we have to note that we were amending the agenda prior to the meeting, even though it was published in the paper?
You approve the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. That came up at GMA last year. Is this an emergency item? Let me ask that.
Yes.
Okay, then you're fine.
Mr. Bailey?
And the emergency being that we had an accident at about 12:30 this afternoon. Driver of one of our front-load garbage trucks, our actual oldest one, that was actually the backup for anything else should it go down. Essentially run off the edge of the road and hit a very soft spot that just grabbed the truck, took it off the road into the woods, into a pretty good ditch. Fortunate the driver was not hurt other than minor injuries, so that's the good news of everything. The situation it puts us in, we're obviously down a garbage truck because it's totaled. And scrambled this afternoon trying to figure out what we could do, and we were able to find a a 40 cubic yard front-load garbage truck through Carolina Environmental Systems that they actually have on the yard that fits all of our specs, what we currently have running. And it keeps us from being down over the holidays and being in such a tight spot. And two, we had actually put in, we had in the CIP, the plan was to actually purchase one in January, February. So we're getting kind of lucky that they actually have one on the yard. It's under that CIP number, which was $270,000. It's actually $269,793. Solid waste CIP has 1.5 million in it, and we are asking that we be allowed to make this purchase, essentially this emergency purchase, to fulfill that, or to fill that spot that's been left. No big
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions? Can I have a motion?
Move to approve the purchase as stated.
I have a motion by Mr. Dickinson to approve the purchase as stated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gregory. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Moving to my update, we don't meet again until next year, so I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. We've gotten a lot accomplished this year, and I thank you for every bit that you've put in. It's been a long one for all of us. One more thing, Chris, your, what's the name of the driver?
No,
Mike
Lowe.
He's been checked out, he's okay?
Yeah, probably a little
Tell him-
shaken up, and a little sore this evening, but yeah, he's okay.
Please tell him we're thinking about him.
Will.
Brad, calendar. Come on, step forward, please. Brad's our new planner. He's been on the job for 7 or 8 days. He's from here, kind of Oconee, but has been in Colorado for the last several years.
Sir, look forward to serving the mayor and the council, the best capacity that I can.
You're gonna be doing great. Is there any questions? Background, family, have him dance? I mean, he's good at that.
We'll put him on the spot.
Hey, look, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Ross Bradley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Malcolm. And congratulations.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Thank you, everybody.